What's up, A to Z Sports here live on a Monday. Going to have an interesting show because Derrick Henry has a vintage King Henry night, and the Titans are in Miami for Monday Night Football against the Dolphins coming up later this evening. So we're going to talk about all of those things. Derrick Henry having some Titans fans in a tizzy on social media last night, me having to fight through it like the Popeyes worker when they announced the breakfast sandwich. That's what I felt like last night on Twitter. But we're going to have a fun show talking about where Titans fans sit with the Derrick Henry decision. And then we'll talk about the Titans' confidence level or your confidence level in the Titans winning this game tonight in Miami against the Dolphins to avoid an 0-4 start. The Jags dropped to 0-4. The Bengals did get a win yesterday. So it could just be the Jags, or it could be the Jags and the Titans at the bottom of the NFL. It is a Monday, which means the age game is back, and Zach is not on the show today. We'll talk about our weekly setup here in a second. But Sam, welcome in. Going to have a great, interesting conversation this morning. I basically knew what we were talking about as soon as Derrick Henry crossed the 50-yard line last night on the first play for the Ravens offense. So here we are. What's up, Sam? Let's get it going.
Yeah, going to be a fun one. I think we're going to have maybe you fighting the fight here. Like you might be in the trenches this morning, but that's what we come for. Really excited to kind of get the pulse of this fan base right now in regards to Derrick Henry and in regards to the Titans on Monday Night Football as they attempt to get back in the mix of just kind of respectable stuff. Would have been helpful if the Jags hadn't choked away another football game on Sunday, but that's neither here nor there. Either way, it's going to be a good show. Can't wait to get into it. And before we get into it, everybody watching needs to share the show. So hit the share button in the bottom right corner of Facebook. Take the YouTube link, send the YouTube link to a friend, to a group chat, to a Titans fan in your life. Just get the word out there that A to Z Sports is live here on a Monday morning and that you need to come join the conversation. Leave a like on the show. Give us a thumbs up, whether it's YouTube or Facebook. Not enough likes on the show to start the day today, so go ahead and do that. That helps us out a ton. And Austin, let's do it here. Monday morning. Let's go.
Yeah, let's do it. Gonna be a long day, but let's get it started officially. Welcome into A to Z Sports, powered as always by the BetMGM app. I'm Austin Stanley. He is Sam Phelan, one of our Titans reporters for A to Z Sports.com. And we are Nashville's on-demand sports talk network, going live weekday mornings at 8 Central Time on Facebook, YouTube, and Twitch. Links to the shows segment by segment on our Twitter X timeline. Also hit us up on Instagram, TikTok, and Threads for more great Titans content. Got to thank our sponsors. They make it happen for us, and they help out all of you, like Wilson County Hyundai. Make them a part of your new car buying process. Go see them in Lebanon or online, wilsoncountyhyundai.com. The Bone and Joint Institute, boneandjointtn.org, the region's destination for comprehensive orthopedic and sports medicine care. Farm Bureau Health Plans. Get better with Farm Bureau Health Plans at fbhp.com/ATOZ for a quote today. And TDOT, be part of the solution to help keep Tennessee beautiful and in littering. Visit nobodytrashestennessee.com. Yes, I am wearing a candy necklace. That's what the Magic Bucket told me to do on Thursday. And so I told you guys I would do it on Monday. And here it is, a candy necklace with a little paw. The good thing is it's a 12-pack. So I got 11 more for the trick-or-treaters that are coming in about a month because tomorrow's October. This crazy enough. Tomorrow is October, which means spooky season around the corner. And it was a spooky season for Titans fans, PTSD last night as the first play for the Ravens offense from scrimmage. Derrick Henry sets a Ravens franchise record for the longest run in franchise history, 87-yard touchdown, and he didn't stop there. Derrick Henry and the Ravens were able to beat the Bills to drop the Bills to 3-1. But Derrick Henry had a very vintage night, 24 carries, 199 yards rushing, 1 rushing touchdown. He also had 10 receiving yards and 1 receiving touchdown. First of all, I cannot stand the fact that John Harbaugh did not give Derrick Henry the opportunity on 3rd and 8 to gain 1 more yard to get to 200, because that would have been his 7th career 200-yard game, which would have broken the tie for the NFL lead with Adrian Peterson and O.J. Simpson. But they decided to do a Josh Johnson play-action rollout 1-yard pass to Derrick instead for a waste of time. So, Sam, I mean, it was vintage Derrick Henry last night, which was very interesting and fun to see 22 have that same speed that we've seen him have in two-tone blue for the previous 8 years.
Yeah, I do want to go back to your Harbaugh shade a little
Yeah.
bit because it really was frustrating. And I know Derrick blamed himself for, obviously fumbling on the goal line there at the end of the game, which would have been an extra
Another
yard that
yard.
he needed to get to 200. Um, but I think that statistic, right? So, Austin, I just pulled up a list of
Mhm.
the NFL's all-time rushing yards leaders. We know Derrick Henry is closing in on 10,000 yards,
Yep.
a huge milestone potentially for his Hall of Fame case. But where do you think Derrick Henry ranks? I don't know if you know this off the top of your head in rushing yards all time.
I want to say probably like 36, 37.
It's 32nd. So
Oh,
there are 31 running backs who have gone over 10,000, and probably within the next game, he'll pass Ricky Williams, who's at 10,009 rushing yards. But 32nd for Derrick Henry on the all-time rushing leaderboard. That in itself is not, noteworthy, right? Like if you retire and you're 28th all time, I don't think it really captures the essence of
yeah, I agree.
Derrick Henry's dominance and greatness the
Mhm.
way that I feel like it should. And part of that's because of, right, we've talked about it a lot, but the injury in 2021, what happens if Derrick Henry has an extra 900 rushing yards that year?
Or what
Um,
if he goes back to back for 2,000-yard seasons?
Potentially back-to-back 2,000-yard seasons. If
Yeah.
he's currently sitting here, like, knocking on the door of 11,000 right now, like, this would be a much different conversation regarding Derrick Henry. But the one thing that Derrick Henry has always been is just shockingly dominant and shockingly able to carry a team. 220-yard, multiple touchdown games. And really, he's done that in a way that no running back has been able to do because even though he's tied with O.J. Simpson and Adrian Peterson for the most 200-yard games of all time, I think if you went to like 180-yard games, Derrick Henry probably has a handful more where he's been at 190 yards and not gotten to the 200-yard mark.
Mhm.
I really felt like this is a record Derrick should hold.
Yes.
This is a record that
Yes.
belongs to Derrick Henry because of how many times we've seen these 90-yard touchdown runs and, him having monster games like this. So for it to come down to 1 yard and have John Harbaugh throw the ball with Josh Johnson on a 3rd down and 8 when you're trying to milk clock and throw the ball for 1 yard, by the way, to Derrick Henry,
Mhm.
was crazy, absolutely ridiculous, very frustrating. If Derrick Henry does not have another 200-yard game in his career, it will be absolutely criminal that he is not standing alone on top of the leaderboard for this. And so
Yes.
I agree with you. Like I don't know. This was vintage Derrick Henry in all the right ways. It was a very cool thing to watch. I think anybody who watched Derrick in 2023 knew that the Titans' offensive line was not a huge help for Derrick. There was a lot of games that it really took him a long time to get going because the blocking in front of him just didn't give him a chance to make something happen. And what we saw last night was the Ravens' offensive line and the speed of Lamar Jackson giving Derrick Henry a chance to get started and proving he still got it.
Yeah, without a doubt. A couple of comments real quick. Kenneth says Titans have a Monday Night Football game, right? And then I see Karen says enough about a former player. It's game day Monday Night Football. We're talking about that. Tighten up. Like, yes, we're going to talk about the Titans. We're going to talk about the Titans and the Dolphins.
The Titans are
Yeah.
0-3.
Yeah. And guess what? We have a pregame show as well that Sam and Easton are on tonight at 6 Central. So we are going to talk about a lot of things because we talk for an hour every morning. So we will talk about the game coming up. But you guys would not stop talking about Derrick Henry last night. So that leads me to believe that people want to talk about Derrick Henry because immediately as Derrick Henry busts that 87 yard touchdown run, tweets start to come and say, oh my gosh, the Titans were so wrong to get rid of Derrick Henry. I had so many tweets last night about, Derrick Henry has 5 touchdowns this season. Titans offense has 6. Look at Derrick Henry go. Wouldn't you wish the Titans had him? So I want to get people on the record here because, and MB says, what do you mean, you guys, Austin? Fair. I'm not lumping all of you guys into this, but there are a large
Titans
portion
Twitter.
of fans.
Titans Twitter.
Titans Twitter was not stopping to talk about Derrick Henry last night, whether you were on the Titans were wrong to let him go, or whether you were defending the Titans' reason to let him go. You were talking about Derrick Henry if you were on Titans social media last night. So I want to ask this question to get this out here, because I want to know what people are on the record. And how many people changed based off of last night's performance. Did the Titans make the correct decision to let Derrick Henry walk in free agency? It's a very simple question. Did the Titans make the correct decision to let Derrick Henry walk in free agency? We're going to get to all of your thoughts here in a second. But I do want to tell you guys about our friends at T-Dot. Nobody trashes Tennessee. That's the campaign that's going on. It's always going on. We're about to get to the No Trash November coming up here in a month or so. But there are so many pieces of litter on Tennessee's roadways, over 88 million. And you can be a part of the solution to help clean that up. They keep Tennessee beautiful. And there's over $23 million spent each and every year by T-Dot. Means taxpayer dollars going to clean up that litter. Well, you can help clean it up yourself before you even get to that step by not littering, picking up the litter when you see it, or by joining a local cleanup for a volunteer situation. Maybe you get some kids out there. You want to get them involved in the community, do some good things, volunteering. NobodyTrashTennessee.com is the perfect way to get involved. We can all be a part of the solution to help keep Tennessee beautiful. And it's super easy to do it by going to NobodyTrashTennessee.com.
Today's show, sorry, I was yawning. Today's show powered by, BetMGM. BetMGM is the sports book born in Vegas. Use the bonus code ATOZ Sports. When you sign up with BetMGM, get up to $1,500 back in the form of a bonus bet if your first bet misses. Whatever your first bet is and whatever your first bet wager amount is, it can go back into your account in the form of a bonus bet if that bet loses. That's the best way to do sports books when you have two chances to win big. So BetMGM, bonus code ATOZ Sports.
All right. Did the Titans make the correct decision to let Derrick Henry walk in free agency? I want everybody on the record. So this is the reason why we're doing this, because I think people flip-flopped last night by saying, the Titans were wrong because the Titans are 0-3 and Derrick Henry just went for 199 and ran 21 miles per hour down the field past the Bills defense. So I want everyone on the record. Did the Titans make the correct decision to let Derrick Henry walk in free agency? Sam, I'll send you to the chat, Facebook, YouTube, and Twitch.
All right, Titans Cal says yes, they made the right call. James Spencer says the Titans suck. So no, they did not make the right call. Darren says no, not the right call. Ashley and Steve both say yes. Steven says no, not even close. We've got a yes from Jerry and Jay and Jody and Darren and Ira Hoshi. We've got a heck no from Hassani, a no from Soul Free. We've got yes, unfortunately, from Demario and Dylan and Lane and Jermel. Andre says he wanted Henry to retire a Titan, so the answer is no. Christian says yes, right call. It was time. Maven says yes, but it still hurts, but still the right decision. Brad says Henry made the right decision, which I would agree with. 100% right decision, says Jason Martinez. Corey says no, he was the identity of the Titans. Connor says yes, it's not even close. The Titans offensive line was a big reason why. John says yes, 100% Titans needed a change was the right call. Jonathan says no, they're 0-3. We've got a no, he was the face of the team. Trevor says yes. T says yes. Linwood says yes. We got 1970 says yes. A no from Juan. We've got yes from Jeffrey, who's a big Tony Pollard guy. Alex says yes, it was his choice. Even if there was a contract on the table, he was not going to sign with the Titans. I've seen a couple comments like that.
Let's pause there because Sosa says
case.
that too. It was Derek's choice. And then Robbie also added that, yes, Derrick wanted out, because that's not the case.
Not true. Not true.
No, it's very difficult in sports for superstar player to at some point leave the team that he became a superstar with and play in a different uniform. Rarely is it Jerome Bettis winning a Super Bowl for the Steelers in his hometown in Detroit and says, I'm retiring, I'm walking away. That is the rarity, right? Tom Brady, it was calling a game yesterday in Tampa, I'm like, yeah, you know what? I almost went to the Bears. You didn't know that, did you? I hadn't told that story yet. And he ended in Tampa after all the years in New England. Peyton Manning, like you can go down the list. Brett Favre, all the different people that have ended somewhere else. So like Derrick Henry was going to play somewhere else. But this was the most mutual parting of ways I feel like I've ever seen between a franchise and a player. Like of a player that still had something left in the tank. Like both sides were like, it's time for us to move on. This is the cleanest situation and way we can do it. There's no cutting, no releasing, no waiving. Contract expires, fire the coach, hire somebody else, and you just go a different direction. Like I don't know if there's another situation that's as mutual as this one.
I would say it was more a Titans decision than a Derrick decision.
I would agree. Like if you're going to go 50-50, like which side, more Titans or more Derrick, but
I think I think Hassani is right here. Like I think if the Titans would have come with an offer similar to what he got from the Ravens, if the Titans would have been aggressive in their pursuit of Derrick Henry and wanted to bring him back, I do believe he would have come back. I believe that, we talked about this at the end of last year in regards to Derrick, but his ability to win a Super Bowl was absolutely a factor and something that was in his mind, and wanting to play for a team like the Ravens, who are going to be a Super Bowl contender, was definitely attractive. I believe as attractive as that was, one, Derrick Henry's family being in Nashville and kind of like the roots that he's laid in Nashville. And then two, I think he cared a lot about his Titans legacy and the ability, Derrick Henry is closing in on 10,000 yards. He has passed Chris Johnson for all-time rushing yards. He's closing in on Eddie George. He's 400 yards away from Eddie George now.
Oh,
Derrick,
the Cowboy, by the way.
yeah, right. But Derrick Henry's ability to kind of do all of those things in a
Yeah.
Titans uniform, I do think were important to him. Was it the better decision for his career? Yes, absolutely. Because I don't think he has this level of success if he's in a Titans uniform right now. I think the Ravens offense is such a big boost for him, and finally gives him a little bit of like the support that he deserves to pad some of these career numbers and like really build on his awesome legacy. But I do think this was not just a cut and dry Derrick Henry, I want out, I don't want to be a Titan anymore decision. That's not at all
I think it's
how things went down behind the scenes.
I just think like both sides respect each other and they understand what was best for each other.
I agree.
And I think it's as simple as that. And so obviously, Sam, you and I both say yes, the Titans were correct in letting Derrick Henry walk, right?
Yeah, I am, right. And so like multiple things are true here. And Derrick Henry has a ton of success with the Ravens. Derrick Henry does still have the ability to be a very good running back. You miss watching Derrick Henry break off runs like that in a Titans uniform. All of that is very true. And it doesn't change the process that went on within the Titans building and the conversations that went on within the Titans building about where they want to go with their offensive identity in the future. And for this team, it was time to move on from the identity and try to create and cultivate a new one under a new head coach with a new offensive playbook and a new culture. And have the Titans found that yet? No, but that doesn't mean that their efforts are, not the right call at the end of the day. Mm-hmm. So we've had this debate. I can't believe we had this debate. I think people are already starting to walk back their opinion on this debate when I looked everybody in the eyes and called you all dumb. I'm rooting for Derrick Henry to break every record with the Ravens. I want all of these success.
I was not on that show. To be
That's
fair
true.
To me,
you were not on that show, but yeah, I mean, I know that was a big thing, right? Everybody was coming for Sam's neck because he says, "I hope Derrick Henry does well in Baltimore." I wish him all the success in the world. I enjoyed my time covering Derrick. Tremendous guy and very, very talented running back that I think really is the face of his era at a position. So I want all the success for him. I was happy to see him succeeding last night. It was cool just to watch Derrick Henry doing awesome and being super happy after the game with how awesome he did. And it was refreshing for me. So I'm rooting for it. I know some Titans fans out there want him to get hurt and never play football again because he's wearing a purple uniform. I think that's ridiculous. But yeah, I don't know. It was the right call for the Titans. It was kind of like, that sucks to see. But also, hey, Derrick, good for you, man.
Yeah, like look, and you covered Derrick professionally. Like you have a different relationship with Derrick Henry than the audience does. Like for me, like Derrick Henry helped me and Zach grow our business because A to Z Sports was created, the company was the year of Derrick Henry's rookie season. And so that's the 8 years together. He helped us become relevant in the Nashville market, and it allowed us to have the light bulb go off to do this nationally too. So like we have a different relationship with Derrick than than the audience does as fans. So Jeffrey comes in and says, Derrick would have come back if he had the Tony Pollard deal. And this is something like there are so many things that people just have inaccurate that I have to address today because of all the time I wasted last night on social media having to try to correct inaccuracies. Derrick Henry is getting more money in the next 2 years than Tony Pollard. Guys, like Tony Pollard is not getting more money than Derrick Henry. Can we please understand contracts? If you're going to say stuff like this, and Jeffrey, I appreciate the super chat, but if you're going to say things like that, then you have to be right. Like you have to be accurate. Derrick Henry is getting $16 million in cash in the next 2 years in Baltimore. Tony Pollard's getting 14 and a half. And Tony Pollard's got a third year on his deal because he's 5 years younger than Derrick Henry. That's how it works here. The Titans paid Derrick Henry $50+ million over the previous 4 years.
I will say there's not a huge difference.
I know, but like if the Titans gave Derrick Henry the Tony Pollard deal, Derrick Henry wouldn't have taken it. He wouldn't have taken it because the Titans signed Tony Pollard for that deal on the first 3 hours of free agency. Derrick Henry would have waited for a different deal that would have come later. He would have tried to get more money. But people are always like, oh, the other thing too, like because Tony Pollard is not leading the NFL in rushing like Derrick Henry is, doesn't mean that Tony Pollard has failed the Titans, because we're going to get into some other dumb tweets from Titans fans here in a second. But I saw you had some comments you wanted to address too.
Yeah, I had a couple of things here. Ashley said, who said that, Sam? I think in regards to people not wanting Derrick Henry to succeed. Ashley, maybe you weren't on that show. Maybe you weren't on the internet that day or week or whatever, but I got dragged. Probably 85% of the chat on this show with a very big audience for me and Jack Gentry sitting here, because I was having a conversation with Jack Gentry over the summer where I had said, hey, good for Derrick. I would love to see Derrick have a big year. And Jack, a Titans fan, kind of had some pause and said, you want Derrick Henry to do well? I said, yeah, of course. Like, I would love for Derrick to have a big year. And Jack said, I want Derrick Henry to have a horrible season, to just suck and be miserable. And I was like, Jack, that's ridiculous. Your take is horrible. Haha, let's all make fun of Jack. Everybody in the chat, make fun of Jack. And the comments were coming for my neck saying, no, Sam, you're a Titan hater. Real Titans fans say F Derrick Henry and the Baltimore Ravens. And I posted an article on Twitter, and I wrote a long article about why Titans fans should root for the success of Derrick Henry. And never have I gotten ratioed harder on an article from the Titans fan base than people saying, go F yourself. We hate you. You suck because you want Derrick Henry to do well for the Ravens. Now, I'm not saying you were involved in that, Ashley. I think a lot of people are maybe walking back that opinion a little bit, but I'm saying this fan base was not rooting for Derrick Henry by and large heading into the season. I remember it being pretty ridiculous at the time. I think it's pretty ridiculous now. I think some people are starting to change their tune a little bit now that Derrick is actually having success, and you realize seeing a guy that means so much to so many people smiling and having fun and getting rewarded for years and years and years of, being brutalized or whatever. Like, it's nice. So that's what I was referring to in regards to that.
And I feel like Titans fans need a win very badly, because Titans fans, and I've seen this more and more over the last 10 days, maybe, of how personal some of you guys are taking these things and there's personal shots that you guys are taking because you need a win. Your football team needs a win and they haven't gotten one. And so now you're taking personal shots, like saying, Frankie saying, you are a Titans hater. You're just up there for a check. Saying that Sam is just here for a paycheck and he hates the Titans, which is hilarious. But like, you guys are taking things so personally.
I find that funny though. That's a good.
I mean, it is funny, but I don't think he was
term.
meaning it comedically. I think he actually meant it to mean it. So I want to get to some other dumb things that Titans fans tweeted last night, because I thought this was hilarious. We're going to get to those, but first, real quick, I want to tell everybody about the Bone and Joint Institute, boneandjointtn.org, the region's destination for comprehensive orthopedic and sports medicine care. Whenever you get hurt in life, you have to know where to go to and who to trust to get you back to health, and that is the Bone and Joint Institute in Franklin off of I-65 and Highway 96 in Franklin. They've got the best doctors there, the best surgeons, the best facilities, the best rehab facility as well, and across Williamson County, all one spot. So book an appointment when the injury happens in life, boneandjointtn.org.
Today's show powered by BetMGM. BetMGM is the sportsbook born in Vegas. Use the bonus code ATOZ Sports when you sign up. Get up to $1,500 back in the form of a bonus bet if your first bet misses. For a second chance to win big, use that bonus code ATOZ Sports with BetMGM.com, the sportsbook born in Vegas.
All right, we will talk Titans and Dolphins. It's on the graphic. We will get to it because Derrick Henry stole the show yesterday in the NFL, and it was a day in the NFL when a lot of guys, former Titans, had some big-time performances with their other teams. But I want to get to some dumb tweets from Titans fans about this Derrick Henry stuff because I spent my evening dealing with that. So it starts off here on the bottom right. Chop on, tighten up, Lake Show. Said the Braves, Titans, and Lakers fan guy says, "Hey, Austin and A to Z, remember when y'all said it was proven correct that he let Henry walk because he couldn't keep up with today's NFL?" That is the first dumb tweet from Titans fans because this started it all. Because I quote tweeted and says, Twitter's not the right place for this conversation. The Titans were right to let Derrick Henry walk for many reasons. Is Derrick Henry washed? No. Because the Titans were right to let him go. Because the Titans changed their offensive philosophy where Derrick Henry no longer fit that offensive philosophy. Derrick Henry made the Titans predictable. Derrick Henry has made the Ravens predictable. Being predictable doesn't mean you're going to get stopped. It just means the defense knows what's coming. But if you're good enough to beat the defense when they know what it's coming, see the 2019 and 2020 and early 2021 Tennessee Titans. When Derrick Henry had like 4,000 yards in 2 combined seasons, back-to-back there because of what he and the Titans offense were able to do because the Titans had an offensive line that could block for him. That when the Titans could not win with Derrick Henry, they could not win games. They could not score 30 points. The last time the Titans scored 30 points in a game that was not against the Miami Dolphins was when Derrick Henry broke his foot Halloween day in 2021. And so the Titans had to move forward. They were right to move forward. It didn't fit the philosophy. But Derrick Henry's not washed. It was just time to move on. We've been over that. Another dumb tweet here from the Matty Boy. The Titans wouldn't be 0-3 with Henry and Vrabes. Absolute masterclass by Rand. This one is dumb, Sam, because the two people that Matty Boy mentioned there, Vrabel and Derrick Henry, were both once a part of an 0-8 stretch for this franchise, where they lost 7 games at the end of one season and went 0-1 to start the next season. It's irrelevant. Like, no, Derrick Henry's not to blame for that 8-game losing streak, but they can go 0-3 with or without Mike Vrabel and Derrick Henry. I think that's fairly clear, don't you think?
That they can go 0-3 with those two guys?
Yeah. Yes.
Yeah, I mean, they did. So
exactly. And the running back position is not why the Titans are 0-3 right now. Far from it. And then the funniest one of the night that I saw from Ben, Mike Vrabel and Derrick Henry were once part of the number 1 seed in the AFC. Everything changed when Arthur Smith left, and the Titans traded AJ. Nothing wrong so far. The Titans as an organization haven't been 0-3 since 1984. 40 years. Your take is terrible. Keep trying to believe otherwise. The Titans were 0-3 in 2009, and they actually became 0-6 in 2009. So that is my segment, Sam. Dumb tweets from Titans fans last night. How do you feel about the collection of tweets there?
Yeah, I mean, I think, like you said, the Derrick Henry, Mike Vrabel is not the reason the Titans right now are sitting at 0-3. I don't necessarily believe the 0-3 start is reflective of whether the thought process was sound behind many of those moves either. So, hey, it's an emotional sport. And listen, you guys can blame me at the end of the day. I think, Lee was correct here. He said, hey, you're bad luck. We've sucked since you joined the team. You are correct, sir. I congratulations to Titans fans everywhere. You have now gone over 1,000 days. You can read this article on A2Zsports.com. You've gone over 1,000 days without scoring 30 points in a football game. Over 1,000 days. That's really, really impressive. It's the longest streak in the NFL by a long shot, and probably one of the longer streaks ever. Additionally, because we all know I joined and started covering the Titans at the start of the 2022 season. Since the start of the 2022 season, the Titans have played 37 football games. And in 25 of those 37 contests, they have failed to reach 20 points. So 25 of 37, just trying to do math, is about 70% of their games since I started covering the team. They have not scored 20 points. Maybe it is me. So I'm sorry, everybody.
Well, they also haven't won since Easton Freeze joined. They were 3-0 in the preseason, and then Easton stepped in 0-3. We're at here. All right, let's get to some super chats about this before we move on to the game tonight and finally appease the boos in the crowd. Real quick, some super chats. King VC says, lock in, like the show. Yes, Henry looked great, and it was the right decision to let the King go right there. So appreciate that, King VC. Noah says, I feel like it was the wrong reason for Will's development. Having a top-tier running back take a lot of pressure off of young quarterbacks. I mean, it happened. It worked for Will Levis in his rookie season.
I disagree with this too, though. Because I feel like, right, Derrick Henry being a great running back, like running the ball takes away pressure from from a young quarterback in general. But predictability, I think, is a hindrance to young quarterbacks. And I think what the Titans were doing, which could still be the right philosophy, right? It's all about execution and their ability to do it, with this offensive front. Tony Pollard and Tajay Spears give you a level of versatility that takes pressure off of Will Levis by having guys that can pass block, that can catch passes, that can be used in different ways and be interchangeable, and keeps the offense less predictable. And I do believe that there was a predictable aspect of the Titans offense with Derrick Henry in that could have been bad for Will Levis in the same way that it took pressure off of him.
Yeah, I totally agree. And look, Will Levis having a running game doesn't stop him from doing dumb stuff to hurt the football team. See the Chicago Bears game.
Derrick Henry is most valuable to a quarterback like Lamar Jackson, a quarterback that has running as a skill set that, makes defenses be threatened by a handoff between the tackles in a way that, gets Lamar Jackson on the edge all the time running free. I think it was why it made so much sense for the Baltimore Ravens. I think it's why Derrick Henry's having so much success with the Baltimore Ravens. But I don't necessarily think that was going to be as helpful to the Titans as it necessarily was for Baltimore.
Yeah, and vice versa. Good for Derrick Henry to have Lamar Jackson as the quarterback there too. Jeffrey does come in with a joke. No state income tax in Tennessee, so it balances out the Tony Pollard.
It does a little bit more than balances out, honestly.
Yeah, right. Jeffrey says, real Titans fans support Henry no matter what, unless he plays the Titans, but it's always F the Ravens. Like you can.
Fair.
Yeah, that's fair. Right there. Andre says, ironically, as bad as Levis is playing, he might need the play action style offense Titans ran with Henry. That boy reads the field like Stevie Wonder, O-line aside.
It's a fair counterpunch, right? Like Levis had a ton of success off of play action last year. And how much did having Derrick Henry help with that? I don't know, but I do think there's probably an argument there from Andre that the threat of play action pass because of the threat of a Derrick Henry handoff was something that really benefited Levis as a rookie to get a lot of single coverages down the field.
The reality of it is, though, is that Will Levis needs to prove that he can do it without play action and do it for like a quarterback in the 21st century.
I mean, if you're going to be a franchise quarterback in the league, and if Will Levis is going to take that step, you have to be able to show that you're not dependent on an elite running back in the backfield or, a specific style of running back or only having success out of play action, right? Like maybe those are things that help a young quarterback develop, but you do have to take that step to another, tier eventually.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, without it. All right, last super chat on Henry, then we'll talk Titans Dolphins. Okay. Chosen said,
I don't want to hear this. We gotta. I'm about to mute the chat.
Well, I don't know what the chat's saying. All I see
they're just yapping. A lot of yap about we have a game today. You don't care. I've seen the amount of times every time I write Titans Dolphins, I've seen how many of you guys don't click on it because you don't care. Boom. So don't miss me with that.
Henry was done here, wanted a shot at a ring before he retires. It's delusional to think he wanted to go through a rebuild here and risk his chances on a ship. I think Chosen is on to something right there. All right. Now let's talk Titans Dolphins because yes, the Titans do have a game tonight. It is a big time game because the Titans, this team and this fan base, I mentioned it already, desperately needs a win. So we'll talk about this here in a second. And the question is for you guys on this game, what's your confidence level in the Titans beating the Dolphins tonight on Monday Night Football on a 1 through 10 scale? What is your confidence level in the Titans beating the Dolphins on a 1 through 10 scale to get to 1-3, avoiding 0-4 for the second time since 2009? But real quick, Farm Bureau Health Plans, they can help you out with when it comes to your health coverage. Farm Bureau Health Plans has been serving Tennesseans for over 78 years. They can make sure that you have exactly what you need, regardless of your family's situations or your needs. Maybe you don't have a family yet. Maybe you're out there, independent contractor, entrepreneur, single, trying to do it yourself, and you need that safety net of health coverage to fall back on. Farm Bureau Health Plans is phenomenal at helping you out there. Maybe you do have a family, growing family, or empty nested family. You have different needs for either of those spots. Farm Bureau Health Plans specializes in all of those spots as well. No cookie cutter plans, all based around what you need in your situation, and you can save money and get better coverage for it. Use our link, fbhp.com/ATOZ to get a quote. That's fbhp.com/ATOZ for Farm Bureau Health Plans.
We're talking confidence in the Titans to win. If you've got a lot of confidence or maybe no confidence, regardless, you can express that through BetMGM, through a bet with the bonus code ATOZ Sports and get up to $1,500 back in bonus bets if that first bet misses. So sign up and use that bonus code. And whether you're betting on or against your Titans, you can get your money back into your account in the form of a bonus bet if your first bet misses. The sportsbook born in Vegas, BetMGM.
All right, so confidence level in the Titans to win this game. Sam, I'm going to send you to the chat and see what people say on a 1 through 10 scale. Confidence level to beat the Dolphins, who are also struggling. Snoop Huntley is the starting quarterback for the Dolphins tonight. Jeffrey Simmons is doubtful, which is interesting. Questionable. L'Jarius Sneed, Amani Hooker. So some pretty big names that are questionable / doubtful.
Feel a little bit bamboozled by the whole Jeffrey Simmons situation, by the way.
Yeah, what is it? What's
I mean, it's an elbow injury that he suffered in the game. Brian Callahan came away from the game last week and kind of said, yeah, I mean, nothing really on the injury front. I mean, Jeff has an elbow, but, not a big deal. Came back on, Wednesday and said, yeah, we're about as healthy as you can be. Obviously Cheeto going to IR was always kind of a thing that was happening, but Callahan said Jeffrey Simmons day to day with the elbow. It's nice though. We've got that extra day in the week. Like really made it seem like this was not a big deal until you get to the weekend and it pops up. Oh, doubtful. You might not have Big Jeff. I didn't really expect that to be the case, especially with an elbow injury. Felt like something that Jeff probably could play through. So I was very surprised at the severity, I guess, of Jeff potentially missing this game.
Yeah, me too.
With a bye week, with a bye week coming, right?
Right.
So like if there's any chance, if you are like feeling decent, tough it out, man. We need you out there and like get your rest into the bye week, but like the Titans need a win and you need to be on the field if you can.
Yeah, I totally agree. All right, some confidence levels coming in here. Sam, do you see some because also while I have you go look for some confidence levels.
I'm ready.
No,
Yeah.
no Armstead, no left tackle for the Dolphins. He's out with a concussion. No Kendall Fuller or Kyle Fuller. Which Fuller is it?
Kendall.
Kendall. No Kendall Fuller.
Kyle's retired.
Yeah.
Famous legend.
Sorry, there's a lot of Fuller. Hey, Vincent Fuller, the Titans legend. But no,
Will Fuller, Titans
huh?
legend.
Who?
Will Fuller, Titans legend.
Oh,
Not
nice.
not because he played for the Titans, but because he always beat the Titans. Will Fuller.
I thought you were talking about Will Levis with his like married name.
Oh no, I was talking about the Texans wide receiver.
I thought you made a joke. Anyway, all right. So also he's out with a concussion too. So there's a lot of different injuries there too. All right, hit us with the confidence levels from the chat here.
We got a 2, 3, 1, 0, 3. Maybe a couple more people a little bit more confident with a 7, 8, 6, and 5. Brian's at a 1. Steven says 3, a solid 3 from Jake. 6, 1. Mike says -10, no chance. Jameson says 4, 0, 1. We got a 7 from Linwood, an 8 from, like I said, 1.73, 7.5. A 4 from John because of all the Dolphins injuries. Curious to see where he would be without those injuries. Demario says 6. We got a 2 from IR Hoshi, a 3 from Tighten Up, 2 from Scott, 3 from Corey, 5 from Trevor, 4 from Sportsfan, 0 from NM Titan, a 5, 9, 4, 2, a 0, a solid 4, a 2, 3, 4, 1, 7. Without 7's a 3. Austin, it's low. We got a lot of low numbers here. We just got a stretch of a 4, a 6, a 4, a 7, a 4. But not many people over 5.
Yeah, I'm not over 5. I think I'm at like a 4. I think a 4 feels accurate. I think they can win. They should win. Please. Like you got to be able to win something. You're getting another bad quarterback situation with a guy who just joined the team like 10 days ago. Like this is their version of Josh Dobbs starting on Thursday night against the Cowboys. It's like you should be able to win this game because Tyreek Hill hasn't been catching passes from Snoop Huntley in practice for very long. And neither is Jalen Waddle or any of these guys. Like, and L'Jarius Sneed's injury is interesting too, because he's questionable. And we've seen Sneed do a very good job on Tyreek Hill in the past when he was with the Chiefs.
If Sneed doesn't play, they're going to lose.
I agree. Which is crazy to think, but I think it's because Cheeto's out. We know that.
I would wager a lot of money on the Dolphins to win if L'Jarius Sneed doesn't play, because you could throw me out there at quarterback. Tyreek Hill and Jalen Waddle going against Jarvis Brownlee and Darrell Baker is going to be a nightmare. Don't like the separation. It doesn't matter who's at quarterback in that case.
And normally a cornerback's availability is not that big of a deal, But
like,
I agree with
I think you can survive Cheeto, right? Like I think you can survive Cheeto being down. Brownlee steps up, Baker steps up. You like as long as you have one guy able to limit the number one option for an opposing offense, like you can do something here. If you're missing Sneed and Cheeto and going against maybe the best receiving core in the league, I really don't think it matters a ton who's throwing them the football.
I agree so I'm gonna 4. I think Sneed's gonna play. Like my guess is he's gonna suit up and go. But I'm at a 4 just because like with Will Levis, I don't know what to expect. Like in all this Twitter stuff, last night, somebody's like, well, explain to me why the Titans are 0-3. And I just sent the 3 picture meme of Will Levis in the first 3 weeks. Like you're giving points away to the other team, and Will Levis could absolutely do that tonight. And that's not the only reason why they're 0-3. I know, Sam,
It's not even the main reason. It's not even the main reason they're 0-3.
It's the simplest, most direct reason to say the Titans are 0-3 because they keep giving the team other points for free.
Sure.
It's not all Will Levis's fault. Some of them are, but they keep getting they had punts blocked. they're fumbling the ball, they're throwing interceptions, and the other team's getting free points. Like that is the easiest way to say why. If somebody walks up to you on the street, why are the Titans 0-3? That's the easiest way to say it and then move on and keep on walking.
Yeah, I would probably be like, the offensive line sucks. That'd probably be my first answer. Why are the Titans 0-3? They cannot block anybody.
But the offensive line is not the reason why Will Levis has gifted the flick 6 to the Bears, right? That's Will Levis.
Sure, but the Titans also win that game if it's not offensive line, but their ability to block somebody is, transferred to 2 touchdowns for opponents. The Bears don't win that game without a punt block for a touchdown either. But, the Titans have been able to get in their own way. They have no offensive line. Defensively, they don't pressure the quarterback enough. They don't hit the quarterback enough to force the ball out. They don't set the edge at all. And so they allow quarterbacks to escape the pocket and beat them with their legs. They allow quarterbacks like Malik Willis to extend plays. So you don't hit the quarterback. You don't protect your quarterback. It is and this is why I've ripped into Brian Callahan a little, not ripped in, because I like Brian Callahan. I think he does a great job of speaking to the media and being honest, right? So I don't think he's not being honest, but to look at the Titans 0-3 start and say, hey, turnovers, right? I think that's lazy. I think
answering that to the press is lazier, right? But I'm talking about
we're also having a conversation about like why the Titans are 0-3. If you're going to ask me the question, what the main reason is, like turnovers in themselves are not the main reason, because like if that was the answer, you could snap your fingers and say, hey, Will, stop turning the ball over. Hey, defense, you should get an interception.
It's the same way, right? Like Kyle Phillips used to say, Craig Aukerman was like, hey, just catch the punt, right? Like that's not how you coach, right? I'm with you. But I guess the reason why my confidence level is low for the Titans to get a win against the Dolphins is because they could do so many things correctly, but then Will Levis does something bonkers and puts 6 points on the scoreboard for the Dolphins because he's done that so many times already this season. So that's the wild card of the game, is that the Titans could easily gift the other team points on the scoreboard, which is how you lose games.
Yeah, I mean, I agree with MB here. I think it's a collection of reasons, and it really is like the most damning answer, but most true answer. You good over there?
Yeah, I just threw my phone on the ground. I didn't mean to. It's just, one of those things that happens.
It's the fact that Brian Callahan's able to go down a list of everywhere the Titans have gone wrong after the game on Sunday, and he goes, we didn't set the edge. We didn't get after the quarterback. We didn't protect our quarterback. We turned it over too many times, didn't create any turnovers, didn't run the ball, couldn't stop the run. And he goes down this list of being like, oh, so you guys suck at everything. You guys do everything poorly. And that is the reality, is that this team has not been able to do anything well enough. And so like, that is why it does irritate me a little bit when people put the Titans into this box of like, oh, well, if Will Levis wasn't turning the ball over, this team would be better. Because I think this team has a lot of problems, like a lot of issues.
I don't disagree. I agree with your statement and your assessment of this team, but you can point to like 3 to 4 plays on this season and say, if the Titans just do less on this play, they might be 2-1.
Yeah.
Right.
Sure.
And that's this at the simplest form.
As Nick Holtz said, right. And I think it was a really great note by Nick Holtz in this thing. He was like, it's like people judging the offense or Will Levis or this team by their worst moments and their worst plays. And he's like, can you judge a team by that? He's like, I would love to say no, but I think we'd all like to have all of our bad moments removed from the equation and then be like judged. And he's like, yeah, if you took away all of my bad play calls, I'd be a really good play caller. Yeah. And I'm like, yeah, that's like, but that's true, right? Like this drove me nuts about Mike Vrabel's staff, that they would sit there and be like, us not able to stop the run? What are you talking about? We're great at stopping the run.
If you take away the explosive plays,
take away the 8 explosive runs, we're actually like number 1 in the league in run defense. Yeah. And I'm like, what are we talking about? Like,
Yeah,
though you
I'm
still
sure.
gave up the explosives.
I'm sure the White Sox pitching staff would be pretty good if they
If they
just didn't allow home runs.
yeah, if you just took away the home runs, that's a really good team.
Yeah.
Duh. And I did like that Nick Holt said that, and that's why, it's Will Levis had some plays. And so for me, it's the difference between those anomaly turnovers that we talked about with Will Levis and the turnovers that are results of poor process, like for the offense as a whole. The fact that you're getting your quarterback smoked 2 seconds into a snap because NPF is in a 3-point stance 4 seconds after the ball is snapped and his guy's 8 yards behind him, right? But like there have been those moments of the offensive line putting the quarterback at risk. I think those are like the things that tend to repeat themselves a little bit more. Yeah, was the flick six or whatever when horrible? Absolutely. Did it cost the Titans a game? Absolutely. I don't think that's part of like the process that is broken. I think it's so many of these other characteristics that don't give me a ton of confidence that they're just going to snap their fingers and fix it.
I just think that's Will Levis, though. Like that's what he has been. Like
Sure.
the Kentucky Wildcats went to Oxford, Mississippi on Saturday and beat number 6 Ole Miss. They dominated Ole Miss, held them to 17 points, a season low in every stat you could possibly look at. The Kentucky Wildcats did that with Will Levis a couple years ago, except instead of closing the game with a win, Will Levis fumbled the snap up in the air and gave the football back to Ole Miss, and Ole Miss was able to escape with a win. Like Will Levis has the tendency to do these things, and that is his MO. It's just
sure.
And it's like, how many times do you have to see it until you're like, I believe that's who he kind of reverts to. Like that's just what happens.
No, absolutely.
He turns into a pumpkin.
Absolutely. And so like it is a kind of a catch-22, right? Because my opinions on Will Levis, like I believe he is going to correct some of that at like with the idea of these unforced errors, right? And so I have more hope in Will Levis than a lot of people do because I do believe he's going to correct it, right? But I also don't believe we can reflect on Will Levis's performance all the way through. Be like, hey, it's that same argument, right? Well, hey, if you just take away some of those dumb, unforced errors, Will Levis has been pretty good, which I think is true. But he also made the dumb, unforced errors. And if you're going to be the guy that makes the dumb, unforced errors consistently, that's part of your MO and part of your identity as a quarterback. So yeah, all this to say, what is my confidence level in the Titans to win in Miami? It's about a 4, and weirdly enough, I think I'm worried about the defense tonight. I think they are going to lose this game. Like if they lose this game, it's going to be because of the defense. I think I have legitimate concerns about the edge. I don't think the Titans are good enough on the edge. Matter of fact, they've sucked on the edge.
Yeah.
Harold Landry is getting kind of a pass because he has 3 sacks. If you look at his win rate, it's atrocious. Arden Key, I don't even know why he's out there. When does his suspension end? When does Arden Key come back from suspension? Because he has not been a factor whatsoever. And with a guy like Snoop Huntley, the same way Malik Willis did it, you don't have to be a great quarterback. Malik Willis is not a good quarterback. Newsflash for everybody, right? We've seen it. Has he improved? Yes. Is he good? No. But he had enough, mobility to extend plays, escape off the edge, get the ball out quick. And the Titans defense didn't know what to do with that. I'm worried that a lot of this stuff is going to exist with Snoop Huntley again today. And a rushing offense that, by the way, is getting Raheem Mostert back, that has some weapons like Devon Achane, Tyreek Hill, like guys that in the quick passing game are dangerous. I worry about the Titans defense tonight.
I do think Mike McDaniels could hold back some of this success because he has had some weird play calling moments in games, including what happened last year when these two teams played on Monday Night Football. I just want to go back. I pulled up the 2022 Kentucky at Ole Miss game, and I want to read what happened because it is just so incredibly this season Will Levis that I can't not read it because
Wait, what are you reading from?
I'm the play-by-play.
Okay.
I'm reading like the play-by-play at the end of the game. So
Okay.
it is 22-19. Ole Miss, who is ranked 14th. Kentucky's ranked 7th at the point this year, but it is at Ole Miss. Ole Miss is up by 3 with with about 2:55 on the clock. It's 3rd and 2. Kentucky has the ball at the Ole Miss 19 in field goal range, down 3. On 3rd and 2, Will Levis runs for a loss of 2 and fumbles, picked up by Ole Miss. So if he just doesn't fumble there, you kick a field goal to tie the game, a chip shot field goal to tie the game at 22. Ole Miss's defense goes 3 plays, 1 yard, 3 and out by Kentucky's defense. Now there is a minute 42 left in the game, still down by 3. Kentucky drives inside the Ole Miss 15-yard line, actually inside the 8. It's 1st and 10 at the 12. And with 50 seconds left on 1st down, Will Levis sacked for a loss of 13, fumbles. Ole Miss recovers, game over. So that is 2 fumbles in field goal range, down 3 within the last 3 minutes of the game.
Yeah.
That is peak Will Levis this season. It's the same thing.
And I mean, right? Like it takes points directly off the board, especially in red zone scenarios. And it's part of what Callahan's working with Will on coaching. Is this idea of, hey, if we're in the red zone, hey, if we're in field goal range and there's pressure, don't try and escape the sack and make a play. Go down, take your sack. It sucks we didn't get a touchdown, but let's take our field goal and take our points. And like those points will stack up over the course of the game. There's no question. It is a key area in which he's going to need to improve. You don't win games in the NFL turning the ball over at the rate that Will Levis has this year. Yeah. So
look,
can he do it? Can he do it? That's the question, right? And I know like I defend Levis. Somebody said, Sam doesn't want to see it with Levis. I defend him. But it comes down to your opinion on can he fix it? Because there's no doubt. Like, I'm not going to sit here and look at you guys and say that it's fine how Will Levis has been turning the ball over so far this year. It's absolutely detrimental. You're not going to win games that way. You're not going to be a starting NFL quarterback. Will Levis would tell you as much. He hasn't played well enough. I have more faith that he will correct it than other people do, and time will tell with it. And I'm not going to say you're right or wrong. Like if you believe Will Levis isn't fixing this issue and that this is going to be the thing that does him in, I think that's a fair opinion. Whether or not I agree with it, probably not. But like I think that's a fair, standard to hold him to for sure.
It's just do less, right? And like that's the whole thing. If he did less, then Kentucky at least ties that game at 22, and who knows what happens, right? But if he does less against the Bears, does less against the Jets, the Titans maybe beat the Bears and they go up 10-0 on the Jets.
It's almost like
who knows what happens.
It's almost like you have to hit a point where you are, when you have to go into like game manager mode, right? You when you start a game, go make your plays, right? Go be excellent, go be special. But, you're up 10 at the end of the second quarter. And like, that's when maybe you need to do a little bit less. Maybe when you're controlling a game, when you're in scoring position, when you're on top in the second half or up 17-3 at halftime or whatever. I don't remember what the Bears halftime score was. 17-3, I think.
17-3. Yeah.
Yeah. Like all you need to do is play a half where you are, not a problem, and your defense can probably keep you in the game to try and win it late. And so know when it's okay to go into game manager mode. And I think if you look at some of the better quarterbacks around the league, they are guys that know how to do enough in big moments and know how to not press and do too much and get themselves in trouble.
That's right. All right. I think we had some more chats. Yeah, super chat. Sorry. Last super chats before we get to the age game. Connor says, okay, Sam, I read A to Z every day. I naturally care about this business because I love the Titans. You can miss me with the not caring. A to Z till I die. Hey. Connor, appreciate that, right? Like, we're not going after everybody. You can't say.
Not everybody.
Yeah, not everybody.
Connor's a loyal soldier. He's a loyal A to Zite. Yeah, well, I appreciate the support. That's all there is to it. Appreciate you.
Without a doubt. Sightseeing.
When I generalize, sometimes I'm not referring to everybody, right? But
yes. We can't just name names every time because that would just take forever. Sightseeing says if Titans will give a sack or turnover tonight, I take that as a W. On the flip side, if you see 5+ sacks, I can't handle the season anymore.
I actually like this take, right? Pull that up again.
Okay.
If you lose this game because of the defense, right? Like, I hate saying this because you're 0-3 and you don't want to go to 0-4, but like, let's be honest, 2% of teams that start 0-3 have made the playoffs all time. Like, it just really doesn't happen. The odds that the Titans are hey, had the Texans lost and had the division leader been sitting at 2-2 right now, had the Jags not choked that game away, right? Different story. You need a win by any means necessary. Get back in the conversation. A win today at 1-3 probably doesn't change the grand scheme of things, but I like the idea of watching this game for process, watching how Will Levis manages a game, watching how they protect him, watching if they turn the ball over, watching all of those things. If they can start to like show, hey, right? The Titans have said Will Levis has improved in every game. He's gotten better in every game so far this season. Well, now let's see that improvement where you don't have a pick six, where you don't have a big turnover. And if you can do that and you lose because you give up 28 points because your defense can't set the edge against Tyler Huntley, you can take that as like a moral victory, which I know it sucks. I know
I like you. You got to win this game.
Would you rather win this game 10-7 and have Will Levis look like crap and take 8 sacks again, or lose it 28-25 and have Levis actually shine?
I think you have to win the game because you go into a bye week with a win, and then you get the Colts come to town who've got Anthony Richardson, who played better, but now he got hurt again with a hip pointer. He should be okay, but I think you have a chance to get to 2-3.
Yeah.
You just have to win this game. Like, you have to win this game. There's no doubts about that.
I can see that. Cody says too. He says one win is all this team needs to get rolling. And I do see a world where, one win gets you into the bye, gets you building some momentum. But I also think the process of that win is important.
It is, but you have to get a win. Like, I don't care how it looks. If you just have to be 1-3 at the end of the night. That's all it takes. Jeffrey says the Titans would be 2-1 if Uncle Rico was at quarterback, bench Levis. And then Emija says, Austin, what do you expect the Titans to do with Levis? If you bench him and go with Rudolph, you screw yourself out of picking a quarterback in the draft. Yeah, you don't bench him. That's what I said.
Yeah, they're not going to bench him. I don't think you bench him.
No, you're not going to. Easton wrote a great article about that, A2Zsports.com/Titans. If you want to go check that out.
I think there's very clear differences, right? We've talked about this a decent amount. I don't understand the Andy Dalton decision. Still, as good as Andy Dalton has played, and the fact that the Panthers offense looks so much better, there is still for what, right? Like, I love it for Andy Dalton. I think Andy Dalton deserves to be playing somewhere. I like that he's found a spot that he's had some success in. Good for Andy Dalton, but for what? So you can win 4 or 5 games, lose your opportunity to go get.
So Dave Canales cannot get fired in his first season,
right? But
that's the variable.
If you're Dave Canales, would you rather risk getting fired or try and convince David Tepper, hey, please let me take Cam Ward and I'll show you that we can be productive.
You have to get to the season before you can get to the draft. And maybe, David Tepper's been known to not do that very well.
But ultimately, right, there's a difference. Like Joe Flacco potentially we'll see. I could see a world where Joe Flacco takes over as the quarterback in Indianapolis, and I could see that if the Colts are 2-2 right now. The Colts are absolutely not out of a playoff race. The Colts were 20 yards from making the playoffs last year. I think Jim Irsay wants a playoff appearance. I think Shane Steichen wants a playoff appearance. Joe Flacco looked real good, and the Colts offense looked more consistent with Flacco at quarterback in that game yesterday than they have with Anthony Richardson all year. While Richardson is the first-round pick, I think it changes when there's actual playoff stakes. If the Titans were 2-2 right now, or 1-2 or whatever, and they were fighting to stay in this thing, and Levis was continuing to be a problem, it's a different conversation. You
Agreed.
say, hey, we're still in this. Mason Rudolph can help us win games. Let's go with Mason Rudolph. But when you're not in the mix, you always stay with the young guy.
Yep. I totally agree. All right. Are you ready for the age game? Well, age game action?
I didn't prep anybody. I forgot that we were doing the age game. Do you have somebody for me?
No.
All right. Well, then you're gonna
you can go find somebody. I'm gonna suck at it regardless. It doesn't take you very long to find somebody that has to guess their name, but you can do it real quick. But first, let me tell you guys about Wilson County Hyundai. WilsonCountyHyundai.com is where to go make them a part of your new car buying process in Lebanon. Say hey to Payne Bone while you're there for us. Save that money. WilsonCountyHyundai.com. I'm 0 for life for the age game. So Sam, like, it's really, you just have to pick somebody who is a celebrity and ask me to guess their age, and I'm going to lose. So
I've got a crazy one, and I have no idea why this popped up in my head. But
even better.
I'm not going to pick a baseball player. I know better. Austin would never get that. Plus, it's kind of easy. It's like, all right, like they're within 25 to 35. Like, that's not super hard.
I still wouldn't get it.
All right. I mean, this one's all right. Whatever. Let's just do this.
Okay.
Age game.
Yes.
Austin in chat. How old is famous YouTuber, Twitch streamer, Fortnite player Ninja?
Oh gosh, I don't know, because if Ninja walked into my house right now, I wouldn't know who he was.
Really?
Yes. If Ninja walked up to my front door and knocked, I had no idea who he was.
That's crazy.
Is it crazy?
I think it is kind of crazy. I feel like he's got a very famous look.
But I wouldn't be able to. I have the chat hidden, so I don't even know what decade to start with. Am I starting in the 20s? Am I starting in the 30s? I'm guessing I mean, he could be like 28, 29 and been doing this thing for like a decade plus. But I have no idea.
Tyler Blevins.
Yeah, no clue. That could be a baseball player for all I know. Tyler Blevins.
There is a Blevins in the MLB.
Ninja. 31. Final answer.
Okay. 31. All right. Let's see. Daniel says 51. 28. Incorrect. 26. Incorrect. 36. Incorrect. 24. Nope. 38. Nope. 29. Nope. 28. 29. 36. 41. 36. 17. 21. Nope. To any of those. We got 39. Nope. 31 from Rashid. No, it's not. First up, we've got maybe the new leaderboard winner here, because
new name?
Titans Kyle.
Oh,
drilled it again. First up at 33. 33 for Tyler Ninja Blevins. Turned 33 in June. So you were close. You were in the ballpark for not knowing at all.
Yeah. Not bad. I've been way worse. So I'm texting Zach now, Titans Kyle, with another age game win.
And started playing Fortnite in 2017, which was when it was first coming out and really thriving and stuff. So he was 26 when he was, or 26 when he was first in the Fortnite game, which I feel like tracks.
Sure. Now we do have somebody wants us to go take a review. Jody, I had it immediately. Check the record.
I can check. I'll go back. See, the first comment was NM Titan at 67, and then it comes in 50. Karen wanted to know how long Richardson is expected to be out. Not long, I feel like, but I think they could also just go to Joe Flacco. 51 from Daniel was the very first comment. Then it was 28, 26, 36, 24, 38, 29. Titans Kyle on YouTube at 9:20 9:20 a.m. as I see it listed at 33. I see Jody at 9:20 a.m. as well, also at 33, but there was a handful. It was Titans Kyle, then Jason, Ashley, Bork, Dylan, Steve, Daniel, Zach, Jody. Hey, I'll say that many comments right after I say the name, it's probably a matter of like 3 or 4 seconds.
Yes.
It's tight. It's tight. Jody, it's tight. But I went up to the top and it comes how it comes for us.
Yeah. And Jody, you can't see the YouTube comments, and YouTube can't see the Facebook comments.
You were first for Facebook champion Jody.
But that doesn't get you anything.
Put it in the asterisk.
yeah. Hang it in the rafters. Facebook champion.
Yeah, the Jim Irsay banner. Jody, Facebook champion age game.
All right. Rooney says, "See you tomorrow." No, Rooney. What? No, see you later. This is a see you later type of day because Sam and Easton have a pregame show coming up at 6 because the Titans played tonight. So pregame show at 6 p.m. Central Time with Sam and Easton. That's going to be fun. So pregame, halftime, postgame show for Titans Monday Night Football. We'll see how that works because it's going to be exciting. And that's the thing is you don't know what you're going to get when it comes to Will Levis, like a box of chocolates. Will the Titans win or will they go to 0-4? I guess we'll all find out together. But that's it for us. Make sure you hit that like button on the way out. Hit like the show before you go on Facebook and on YouTube. Sam and Easton, we'll see you guys later on. Appreciate it as always.